Okay, so now let's create the functionality to actually edit the profile. So if you come to the finished project here, if you click on this edit profile, it will take the profile data that is stored in Redux and then to just go to the edit page, which is essentially this form. So you can change everything, all the details about the profile, and then save. Then we also have below here this box here where we can reset our password. But of course, we're going to do it step by step. So first, I'm going to build out this edit profile functionality. All right. So let me come here to my file explorer, and then I'm just going to create inside of this profile folder. I will just create another file inside, which I'm going to call edit. It's a component rather. So edit profile. Aha. So .js. Hit enter on that, and then let's just do our RAFCE. So that's our barebone component. Now I can go ahead and save. Then I am going to create the route that will point to this edit profile. So just come to our app.js, and then I'll just duplicate this one here, this last route we created, like so, and then I'll just change this to /edit profile. Okay, then of course I want it to point to the edit profile component as well. Then let's auto import. Aha, so that's about it. Go ahead and save that, and then just make sure that the route is properly set up by coming to this guy here, and I'll just click on edit profile. So account, edit profile, and apparently, oh, okay, there's something we need to change. And that's going to come from our sidebar data.js file. So I'll come here and I'll look for sidebar, and you will not need to change it, because before you get to this section, I would have already changed it and updated it. So if you look at the profile here, the edit profile page is going to profile-update. I changed that during recording, so I want it to be edit-profile. Go ahead and save that, and then that should fix up the routing error. So if I come here back and I click on edit profile, then you see here we now have this edit profile. Yeah, so we're on the right track. Great. So now let's start building the edit profile. I will come to my edit profile component, and there are some things that we're going to need. So first off, I think we are going to need the CSS file. So I'll just import that at the top here. So import the /, and then it's just profile.scss. Great. So now let's create some states that we'll use in this section. The first is, I'll say use state, and I think maybe I should actually open the profile page. So this is the profile page here, and maybe there are some things that are common to the two pages, so I think I can just grab them and then just save myself some time. So the first is this loading state. So I'll grab the loading state, then I'll just come here and then slot that in. So that's the first. So we need to import loading state as well, and then just import that from React. Okay, so let's give some space here. Then let us select the user from Redux. Remember, when we get the user profile, we saved it to Redux. So we're going to select that user profile from Redux. So let me just import use selector. Okay, and that's coming from React Redux. Then I'm also going to import select user, and that's coming from the auth slice. Great. So here I'm just going to come down here, and then I'll create a variable const, and this is going to be the user, and that's going to be equal to, let's say, use selector, and then I just want to select the user. Okay. Excuse me. So now let's keep going. what we'll do next is that we'll create a profile state. So here, I think I created a profile state here. I think we use the profile state here. So let me just, oh no, sorry, in the profile.js. Where is it? Oh, okay. We didn't create the profile state. Oh yeah, so we created it right here. So I'll just copy this profile state and then I'll just slot that below these users. And it's not going to be an empty string. What I'll do is I'll create an initial state. Okay, and that initial state is going to be the data that we get from Redux about the user. So I'll come up here like this and then I'll just create an initial state, which is going to be an object. Now I'm going to get the properties of the user from Redux. So remember, we stored the name, and here I'm just going to say user dot name. And I would also like to use optional chaining. Should, in case the user refreshes the page, you want to be able to avoid throwing an error. And initial state, oh okay, I didn't give it a variable name, so this is going to be const initial state. So we're just going to duplicate this for the email, the phone, the bio, and the photo. So here we'll just say email, and here we'll say, oh okay, it's not, so let me do that again. Here we're going to say, oh, I'm supposed to add comma here on the back of everything, so let me add comma. All right, so here we're going to say email, phone, then we have the bio, then lastly we have the photo. Okay, so I need to correct this one too. Okay, so now we use optional chaining for everything, and the reason why we're using optional chaining is for any reason if the user refreshes the page, then this Redux state will be cleared out and we don't want to throw an error. That's why we use optional chaining here. So let's continue. So we have this profile pointing to the initial state which we get from Redux. Okay, great. So now let's write a function to handle the input change, and let me just, so here I'll just come down, oh sorry, so I'll come down and I want to handle input change. I think we did that somewhere in, where do we handle input change? I think we handled input change, I'm sure about the login page. So let me just grab the function to handle input change. So this one here, I'll just grab this guy and then I'll just come here and slot that in. Now the only thing we need to modify here is that we are handling input change for the profile. So here we're going to change this to set profile, and then here we're going to first spread the profile. Aha, so that's the change we need to make. Then next we're gonna handle the image change, because we also have the opportunity to update the profile image here. So here I'll just come here and create an arrow function, sorry, an arrow function which I'm going to call handle image change, handle image change. And I know we've created this before, but I don't want to start looking for where I did it. So that one we're just going to say set. Okay, so now there's a new variable we're going to introduce into the mix. So after this profile here, I'll just duplicate this profile and then I'll create one for profile image. So profile image, aha, so that's the second variable, and then the initial state is going to be an empty string. Okay, so here in my handle image change, I'll say set profile image like so, and then I'll just, okay, so I need to have an e here, and here I'm just going to say event dot target dot files, and then I'm interested in the 0 index, that's the first file. Okay, so that's it for handling the image change. Now let's just create a function that will save the profile. Nothing will be inside that function. It's just to have the function name, you know, so that it's not going to throw an error when we call it. So I'll call this save profile, It's going to have an E here, and then we're just going to prevent default as well. E dot prevent default. Aha, default. That's correct. Then if anything, I'll just leave it like this first. So it's an empty function. So now that we've created the empty function, I would like us to go ahead and create the JSX. So I want the what's it called, the JSX to be in place. That's all this form data you see, all this form input and stuff, before we now start creating the function to save the profile. That's the way I feel like it will make the most sense. So I'm going to come down here, and let's start by giving this div a class name of profile, and then margin on the top and bottom of 2rem. So let me grab this and come down here, and then let's work with the loading state. So I'll say if is loading, then I want to display the loader components, and then let's just import it. Aha, now what else? So we're going to come down, and then we're just going to have this card. This is going to be very similar to what we had before, very similar. So I feel like I should just grab, that's what we had before. So let me just go to the profile page. You see this return statement of this profile page, yeah, this card. I'll just grab the card, just to save a little bit of time. So let's come and grab this card. And where does it end? It ends here. Great. I'll copy that, and then I'll just come here and then slot that in. So let me just give some space, paste that in. Aha, so now we're going to modify. So what do we have here? Permit me to shrink up some more. Oh, that's the smallest it can be. So let me shrink this one up. Aha. So let's scroll up to the card. So what do we have? First off, let's import the card. Aha, the card is imported. So we have a class of card, flex direction column, that's fine. Then we have this image, which we're also displaying here. So now this is where this second span that contains the profile data is where things will start to change dramatically. In fact, not just there. Here, this image source, it's not going to be profile photo. It's going to come from the user. So let's bring it from the user and dot photo. So if you scroll up here, you see here that we brought in the user, and then the user contains all the information about this particular user, including the photo. So that's why we just changed that. Okay, so that's one. Then let's come into the profile data. What do we have? We have this label and then an input. But here, what we just have is name and then the profile name. So this is where we're gonna start changing. So I will just get rid of all these things you see here, like so, and then, or maybe not. Let me just be gentle about that. So here I'll just say label first, label. I'll tap that, and then I'll say name. Okay, then below that I'll just have my input. So input, I'll tap that. It's going to be a type of text. The name is going to be set to name of the user. So name. The value will be set to so the value will be set to the profile dot name. Okay, so I guess we can also just do optional chaining here, like so. So now I can get rid of this bold tag here. I don't need it anymore. Okay, so now this format we have here, we're going to have the same in the remaining fields except the email field. So I don't want the user to be able to change their email, but I'll still put it inside an input. Okay, so here I'll just copy this guy inside, and then I'll just replace it here in this email side. So here we'll change this to email, and then the value is going to be profile.email email. Then of course this name is also going to change to email. However, we are going to set this email field to disabled. So I'll just say disabled. Aha. So now this email input will not be selectable because we've disabled it. So at the bottom of that, I'll just add this that says email cannot be changed. Okay. Oh, sorry. Just wanted to copy only this one. So I'll just copy that and then I'll just come below this. I'm thinking if I should put it, let me just put it below the paragraph. Or no, within the paragraph, below the inputs. But I'll add a line break first so that it's on a separate line. And then I'll just have a code that says email cannot be changed. Okay, so what do we have next? We have the phone number. Okay, so let's do that. I will come here and say, oh, I think there's something I missed for the name. Okay, I definitely missed something. So for the name, I want to add an unchange inside this input here. I'll add an unchange, and I almost missed that. That's going to be equal to, and then let's just handle the input change. So I'll say handle input change. Aha, so that's what I missed. Okay, great. So for the phone number, I'll just copy this same format and then just go to this phone area here and then replace it. Paste that in and change the relevant thing. So this is going to be phone profile.phone, and then the unchange handle input change as well. The label is going to change to phone as well. Then what do we have next? We have the bio. So the bio is not going to be an input, it's going to be a text area, but I'll still just paste in what I copied before. Aha, so here is going to change to bio. Then like I said, we're not going to have an input, we're going to have a text area. So I think I'll just change this here to text area, and let's see. So it's going to be a text area, doesn't need a type, it's already defined as a text area. Sorry. Then the name will change to bio as well as the value. So I'll highlight both of them and then I'll say bio. Then on change is also going to be this. The only thing is we're going to add a course, and that's going to be the default usually is set to 30. So 30. And then lastly, we're going to add rows, and the default of this also is set to 10. Aha, and I think this is it for the text area. Now the text area has a closing tag, so I'm going to delete this guy. You know what, I should have just done text area automatically. I should have let Visual Studio Code help me do it. Text area. I hope I don't make a mistake in this one. So let me show you what I mean. If I had said text area, Visual Studio Code would just help me enter all of this. But I think it's essentially the same thing with what I did here. So there's no cause for alarm. So I'll just remove this. And then let's continue. So the last thing in this form here is this photo, where we can choose a photo and stuff. So I'll just come down here and create another paragraph tag, and then I think I can just paste in. So this is just going to change to photo. Aha. Then it's going to be an input field, but the type is going to be changed to file. And then we are just going to point, I don't need this name, do I? Okay, the name is going to be set to image because that's what we saved in our database in the model. The value, we're not setting any value for now in the image, so I'll just remove this value. But the unchange is definitely going to change to handle image change. Aha, so that's it. Okay, So after that, what do we have? We have this button that says save changes. So you see this link around this button. I'll remove it because we're not linking to anywhere. We just want to save the changes. So save changes. Any other thing? So that's about it for this card, right? So let me go ahead and save, and let's just make sure that we typed everything correctly. So I'll come to the finished product here, and so you see we get the details about the what's it called, user, like the name of the user, the email, but there's something we didn't do in our CSS. So if you come here, you will notice that we are inside a div, a span. So what we need to be is to be inside a form. So we didn't surround everything with a form tag. That's why we have these styles like this anyhow. So what I'm going to do is, you see this span that has class name of profile data, I'll surround it with a form tag. So I'll say form, tap that, and then I'll get rid of the action. Rather, I'll just add an on submit, or sorry, a class name first, and that will be form control. So dash dash form hyphen control. Then I'll add an on submit also, and I'm sure you guess where it's going to point. It's going to point to save profile function, which we created, but we've not done anything inside the save profile function. Remember, I'll now cut this guy here, and then I'll look for the closing tag of this span, which is where exactly, which is here. I'll wrap it, the form around it. If I go ahead and save, you'll see that this will take shape now because of that form control we added. So you see it now has some shape. One thing I should do though is to add some padding, around this place. But anyway, let's just continue. So we have the data inside of the form. So what we now have to do next is to add the functionality such that when we click on this edit profile, whatever changes we've made here inside this form will take effect. So let me just try and make some changes. One, and that works. We cannot change this. That works as well. So we're going to do that in the next video. All right, see you there.